Hi everybody, Golden Era Bookworm here. Today we're going to continue on the topic of Tom Platz, the Golden Eagle. Now everybody talks about how great his quads were, and no doubt they were some of the greatest of all time. But I think a lot of people surpass the development of his calves, which I think were equally amazing. Just look at these photos, that paper thin skin, the detail is incredible. The striations, everything. His calf development, I think, was phenomenal for the time. I know he was still in the aesthetic period of bodybuilding, the golden era, but his calf development was pretty phenomenal, and we're going to have a look at his calf routines today. Now, Tom Platz's recommendations for training his calves were similar to, I guess, what I've read from Charles Poliquin. Mainly he believed in training them in different ways, sometimes with very heavy weight and sometimes light, reminiscent to the way that Arnold Schwarzenegger actually would train him. He would go really heavy sometimes with heavy weight and therefore use very low reps, as low as 4 reps, or sometimes use moderate or much lighter weight and go as high as 50 reps. And he believed in the shock principle, just like Arnold, for example, in that because the calf, we walk on this muscle all day long, we use the calf to walk basically, and so it's a very stubborn muscle to grow, just like the forearm, and it really does need to be shocked with lots of different kinds of training methods to get development in this area. Here's another great shot of Tom Platz stripping down and showing his phenomenal calf development. I mean, this is what I love about it. The striations are so visible. It's incredible. His calf development, I really think, was just as phenomenal as his quad development. Now, he had several different routines, just like how he varied his routine for his quad development. He actually changed his routine as well for calves. For example, in the off season, he would use much lower volume, focusing on much heavier weight and actually training them before upper legs. Whereas pre-contest time, this kind of routine would be much higher volume, obviously, to get the cuts in, to get the striations and definition. And he would often follow his quad routines, I should say his thigh, his upper leg routine, both hamstrings and quads, with calf training right after that. So he would often train it after his upper legs. The exercises he most commonly used were obvious. They were rather limited back in his time, so there were not many machines. The machines that did exist, for example, was the standing calf raises shown here. Again, focus on how he actually performed them on a wooden block, because that's all they had back then. Focusing on the stretch, as he always mentioned in his booklets and books, which I've read, and then getting the full stretch at the bottom and contracting at the top, very important. The seated calf raise was another favorite of Tom Platz. Here's a great photo of him early in his career pumping out seated calf raises on the seated calf raise machine. And once leg presses came into fashion, he actually really enjoyed using the vertical leg press, where you actually basically sit as he's doing that upside down, and here he's performing calf raises on the leg press. Check out the intensity. This is one of the things that I love about Tom Platz. Yeah, a lot of people complain that he had overdeveloped lower legs, both calves and quads, hamstrings, the works. Everything was overdeveloped. I mean, if you're talking about a classical aesthetic look, yeah, fair enough. Probably one could consider Tom Platz as having monstrous legs, no doubt about it. But what I loved about him was his incredible intensity. This is the one thing that I always loved about Tom Platz, and I still see his videos nowadays on YouTube. And I mean, he might be old, but god damn it, you don't need a pre-workout when you're training with Tom Platz. He will push you to the edge until you fall. His intensity is absolutely insane, and it is so obvious when you see these photos of him. And also, the intensity is shown in the results that he actually got from his training. He trained himself just, balls to wall, literally just killed himself. As he said, he used to tell his training partners, kill me, he used to ask them to drive him to the absolute limit. And yeah, it's just incredible the intensity that he used. And when you see the results that he got, no matter that they were not necessarily aesthetic, the results spoke for themselves. The intensity he placed in his workouts was insane, and I love that about Tom Platz. So I'd like to talk about his pre-contest routine. Mainly he would perform the exercises that I just explained, namely the standing calf raise machine for 6 to 8 reps. You can notice that this is using a low rep range, so likely he used a very heavy weight. And then he would switch that. Again, he would shock the muscle by using first heavy weight and then going to with low reps, with low repetition range, and then switch to a high volume range with more moderate poundage in the seated calf raise, where we perform 5 sets times 40 reps, and on the calf raise on the leg press, again very high volume here using moderate weight, 6 sets times 30 to 40 reps. I'll leave you with these great shots of Tom Platz. Some of my favorite shots of him in regards to his calf development. Again, notice the incredible striation, the paper thin skin. He's proudly showing them off because, I mean, they were just phenomenal, just as phenomenal as his quads. And as I mentioned before, although he wasn't the most aesthetically pleasing physique to look at, he did take bodybuilding to another level, especially when it came to intensity. And his methods, I'm sure that although he probably did take steroids, there's no doubt about that, I'm sure that if modified to a certain degree, or I guess applied with less frequency, would also produce pretty phenomenal results to a natural bodybuilder. At least that is my own opinion. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Hope you've learned something, and if you've liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. Thank you for watching, and leave me your comments. This is the Golden Era Bookworm. Bye for now.